All right, next up we have Treyarch, Activision, and Black Ops 4. You might remember in an earlier episode of this podcast, I talked about Anthem a lot. Kotaku's Jason Schreier wrote up that article about Anthem, and it was really long, and I read the whole thing, and it took like an hour. Well, he pretty much wrote another article, this time about Treyarch, and it's pretty much just as long. However, I'm not reading the whole thing because Charlie Intel condensed it down for me, and they basically highlighted the important points. So I'll be going over Charlie Intel's article on this. So it says, back in late May, Kotaku's Jason Schreier, when he dropped the bombshell report that Treyarch will be developing Call of Duty 2020, also mentioned he would be releasing a behind-the-scenes report on what happened at Treyarch during the development of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Alright, so onto the highlights. Let's just get to it. QA had to work extensive hours on the game, even told not to party during the game's launch window in order to ensure all aspects were ready for launch. QA testers are being treated as second class in the offices. Basically, while everyone else was celebrating that the game launched, quality assurance testers, QA testers, they weren't allowed to celebrate. They're the ones testing the game and all that, and they just can't celebrate in case something went wrong. And they're basically being treated like they're below everyone else. The contractors working at Treyarch have had to work extensive hours for limited pay and did not receive a share of the game's bonus. That's also not cool. So from what I understand, when you work on a video game, you get paid like a salary. So if you agree to, $100,000 a year, that's what you make. So if you work overtime, you don't get paid extra. Like, you're locked in for what you agreed to make. So when companies talk about going into crunch and working all these extra hours, like, they don't get paid for that. And that's why it's such a stressful environment. And like, video games are cool and all, but working on them might not be the most fun thing in the world. Black Ops 4's campaign mode was canceled in early 2018. Black Ops 4's campaign was to be played alongside a friend. You would pick enemies to battle against and work to take down different enemies as the game progressed. It was almost like a 2v2 campaign. The team was working to get it to Activision for a milestone demo in late 2017, but the mood changed when Treyarch executives shifted direction to cancel the campaign in early 2018. So there was a campaign. Black Ops 4 was originally set to launch in November of 2018, but changed the date to October 12th because of Red Dead Redemption 2's October 26th launch. There's an extensive crunch period for the developers at Treyarch, working long weeks and hours in order to get the game ready for the October launch. Kotaku says the QA testers in Treyarch found out that Black Ops is returning in 2020 as the new Call of Duty game for that year after the Kotaku article dropped, and then a few days later got an email from heads of department confirming the news. Treyarch informed employees late last month that the staff would be taking on a new Black Ops project for 2020 release after a shift in Activision's plans resulted in Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software becoming support studios. A lot of people at Treyarch didn't know they were making next year's Call of Duty until we knew. Like, they found out the same time we found out, which is bad. That means next year's Call of Duty is pretty much going to be rushed. Because, look what they did with Black Ops 4 in 3 years. Canceled the campaign, a lot of stuff just wasn't working at launch, and you're going to tell me that all of a sudden this game gets thrown in their lap, and they're just going to make a perfectly good game that works, has all the features, campaign, all this stuff, in a year and a half? A fully functioning game in a year and a half? I don't know. It's probably going to be rushed. I don't like that one bit. That's why I say you should just remaster Black Ops 1 and 2. Forget making a new game. Just remaster the good ones, combo it up, combo pack, bundle, release it. It'll sell millions. You don't have to stress out about it. But that's probably not going to happen, so good luck everyone at Treyarch. Staff at Treyarch received a bonus for Black Ops 4 earlier this year, and many of the higher levels had an extensive bonus to the point that parking lots were filled with Teslas at the offices. Kotaku says that many at Treyarch are just as frustrated with Black Ops 4's microtransactions and are struggling with Activision's decisions to force revenue. So yeah, if there's any debate again on who was making the decisions with these microtransactions, it's Activision. Activision is the boss, big boss man, okay? They own all these Call of Duty developers. So what Activision says goes. And this is what is weird because Activision also owns Beanox, who created Crash Team Racing, and there's no microtransactions in that game. So it's like, how can you be so microtransaction heavy in one game and then have none in your other game? It's really weird to me, and it's especially when Call of Duty has the bigger community. Like, you shouldn't be making any of your communities mad, but if you're going to have to make one mad, again, you shouldn't make any of them. But it's like, you should really make your big community happy. And maybe make the smaller one mad, but it seems like they flipped it, and the smaller community is happy, and the bigger one is mad. It's just weird. I don't understand anything they're doing. And then Activision issued a response to Kotaku's article. Black Ops 4 represents 3 years of hard work, creativity, and passion from hundreds of talented individuals across Treyarch, Activision Studios, and publishing teams, as well as agency partners around the world. It represents the culmination of a wide variety of development initiatives, the best of which comprise the game that our fans are playing today. The teams who created this game are diverse and widespread. It's important to us that everyone working on the game or any of our projects is treated with respect and that their contributions are appreciated. If there is ever an instance where this standard is not met, we work to remedy it immediately. We constantly strive to provide a rewarding and fun development environment for everyone. Everyone at Treyarch is extremely proud of Black Ops 4. Okay. We love bringing games to life, and we always want to do the best work of our careers. Okay. We realize this is only made possible through the varied perspectives and contributions from every individual working on the team. No one at Treyarch is extremely proud of Black Ops 4. Are you kidding me? We always want to do the best work of our careers? Okay, so just make an entire community angry. Yeah, that's your best work. Again, I don't understand with Activision. I don't understand their thought process. Again, how do you have so many microtransactions in Call of Duty, but in Crash Team Racing you have none? Like, I'm happy CTR doesn't have any, but it's just, I don't know. Treyarch's co-studio heads, Mark Gordon and Dan Bunting, sent a note to the entire Treyarch team about the article. Kotaku's report detailed extensive mistreatment of the QA team and the contractors who work on Call of Duty titles at Treyarch. Some have worked 12-hour days for a minimum wage, not received bonuses that many other developers at the studio have gotten, and forced to work even during launch parties rather than celebrating. The new email sent to the staff states that they plan to make significant improvements to the work and life balance for the team at Treyarch and ensuring better project planning to avoid major changes to games close to the title's launches. Here's the full email Mark Gordon and Dan Bunting sent to the staff. Today, Kotaku published a story that explores a number of reported behind-the-scenes issues in Black Ops 4's development. The first and most important statement that we want to make to the team is that as managers of the studio, we take the well-being of every single individual working here seriously. We have a vision for the future of the studio that includes significant improvements to work-life balance, and we plan to achieve that through better project planning, streamlined production processes, and rigorous decision-making timelines. It is also our intention to maintain our commitment to increased transparency. Getting there will require time, hard work, and commitment. Most of all, it will require open communication. If you ever feel like your needs aren't being met, please do not hesitate to communicate actively with your manager. No one should ever feel like they don't have options, can't talk openly, or that the only choice is to take their concerns to the public. These conversations should always start with an honest dialogue with your department manager, and if that's not working, feel free to reach out to one of us. Game development is a wildly complex art, and it requires a diverse set of people and skill sets to do it successfully. It's important for all of us to foster a studio culture that treats all team members with respect. We appreciate the contributions made by all parts of the team in the name of the games we make. So yeah, it sounds like working at Treyarch for the Black Ops 4 development wasn't very fun, and the game reflects that. With all this coming out about Treyarch, and then the fact that they basically have to rush to get their next game out, and if it bombs, well, it's not going to bomb because it's Call of Duty, it's still going to sell. But if it just doesn't do well, like with the fans, it's not looking good. Not looking good for Treyarch. It's not fair to them that this game got thrown into their lap with a year and a half to make it. I mean, that's not their fault. You can't really blame them for that. But people are going to blame them for that if the game sucks. You know? Maybe it's karma. I got my eyes on you, Treyarch and Activision. Again, with Activision, it's like you went 1 foot forward, took 2 steps back. 1 foot forward with CTR, 2 steps back with all this new microtransaction crate stuff, cases, whatever you're doing in Black Ops 4 right now. I know Black Ops 4 came out first. Relax. And that's the other thing I don't understand, because it's like no one liked having weapons in supply drops. Nobody. Absolutely no one liked that. We all hated it. And so they stopped doing it. And now they brought it back. And people hate it. It's like they're not learning from their mistakes. They're like, oh, we'll take this away. Maybe people forget about it. They'll just forget about it. And then we'll bring it back. We didn't forget about it. It doesn't make sense. Sometimes I just don't understand how a company that big can just be that stupid. And again, I'll give credit where credit's due. Like Activision being hands off with Crash Team Racing, good. Love it. Them pretty much ruining Call of Duty, don't love it. Like just figure it out.